Now, Spain had a very feminist culture and also feminist government. I would say since 2018, it was one of the most progressives from Europe. Not top, like it wouldn't overtake Sweden, but it was definitely in the top five, I would say. And they had many policies, especially on thought crimes, like cracking down on jokes, cracking down on fiction, making sure that people think correctly. So, what are the results? Is Spain better off now, or is it worse than it has been? Well, I can't say for sure because I don't have a doctor in a lab coat with statistics. But what I do know is that this video from TikTok has become incredibly popular with a lot of people that also travel to Barcelona agreeing with the video. So you have this lady which is trying to show the types of precautions that people need to take while visiting Barcelona. So this is the Eastern European way of handling the purse. It's something that I didn't expect to see in Western Europe. You're supposed to hold it like this so that people can't snatch it. Funnily enough, we don't do it in Eastern Europe anymore. Funnily enough, this is something that I remember from the time of my mom. My wife doesn't do this. It's not needed. Like, we actually have places that have outside scenery, and there's a big plasma TV over there, and no one tries to take it, no one tries to break it. Like, it's actually there. Like, people can go at a restaurant and enjoy sitting at a table outside while watching a television, which, when the restaurant closes, doesn't get to be placed inside. Like, it's still allowed to leave there and no one breaks in. This is a little bit exaggerated. I will give them this. Like, this part of the skit is a little bit exaggerated. The one with the purse, again, I wouldn't say it's exaggerated because I have seen women do it in real life when I was growing up. This is definitely true, 100%. The thing that I want to mention is that in the beginning I talked about a feminist government, right? They usually consider this to be victim blaming. Like, if you were to tell a woman, hey, maybe you should leave your jewelry at the hotel, or maybe you should make sure that people don't snatch your purse, it would be like, why don't you teach thieves? Why don't you teach thieves not to steal instead of teaching the lady not to, right? In other words, don't protect yourself. That was the message. And this is like one of the reasons why the situation has become worse. Because the way to make the situation be better is to be tough on crime. It's not rocket science, right? Like, if all the people that can't keep their hands to themselves are being separated from civilized society that can keep their hands to themselves, then you have no crime. It's not, it's not hardcore mathematics. We're not dealing with hyper complex numbers here, right? It's simple, right? If the people that can't keep their hands to themselves, you don't even have to teach them, they will learn. You just separate them in prisons, right? Every single time someone steals. And eventually, over the course of time, you get less theft. It's very simple, but like, the left doesn't want this. It's like, no, actually, we're going to tell women that it's wrong for people to tell them to protect their shit. And surely crime is going to go away. But it hasn't, has it? And by the way, I will also like to point out my mom actually got robbed while visiting Spain. Coincidental enough. What happened is, like, someone slashed the tire of my dad's car, and when they went out to see what happened, someone snuck in and stole the purse which she left in the car. That happened in Barcelona. Like, it's funny enough because in my country, she never had stuff stolen. But I guess, like, when she went to the West, she let her guard down because it's like, well, the West is so much more enlightened, and a lot of Romanians are like, oh, we want a country like outside. Because you probably forgot to check what's outside lately. Yeah, I would actually recommend everyone does it, regardless of where you live, regardless of how safe it is. Everyone should do this, if possible, right? If you have the means, you should. Because even if your kid doesn't get kidnapped, heaven forbid, they may get lost, something may happen, and then you wish you would do this. So no, like, this is actually common sense. Although I would say, when it comes to stuff like this in Romania, it used to be a huge problem in the past. Right? Like, child trafficking was huge. Now, it's on the decline. I don't know how it's compared to other places, but at least the people I talk with, like, they feel safe, right? Like, they feel safe in allowing their kids to go to school by themselves and come home from school. But still, I would say this is a lot better than giving the kid a cell phone. Like, giving the kid a cell phone is probably the worst thing you can do, especially if they're young. I would not encourage people to give a cell phone to their kids before the age of 14. Why? Because social media CEOs like Zuckerberg have not given cell phones to their kids. So if Zuckerberg knows something, I will trust him if it's about social media. I think he knows a little bit more than I do. So if he doesn't do it, I wouldn't give it to my kids, and I would suggest that you guys do the same. Like when the kid is like 14, 16, then maybe with parental guidance until they're 18, that would be my advice. But this is definitely great. Like, this is a good idea. Like think about it this way, maybe they missed the bus station. Maybe like something happened, and even if no one kidnapped them, it's good to actually know where they are. Yeah, we actually had this problem years ago where you would have like someone in a motorcycle just snatch your phone. This is like a very common thing that criminals do, so you need to be careful. Like, if you're walking in a dangerous place, which apparently is Barcelona, you need to make sure that you take care of your valuables. So as you can see, like, this lady has no jewelry. She's got her phone in her pocket. I remember like Hassan Piker going to Mexico and complaining that people are treating him differently because he's American. But the reality was that people were treating him differently because he was rich. And you're rich when you're displaying wealth, right? So if you have jewelry, if you have an expensive phone, even the way you dress, right? Like, this lady dresses properly. The shirt doesn't look like it's brand. It doesn't look incredibly expensive. The jeans don't look incredibly expensive either. She doesn't have an expensive hairstyle. All of the things that Hassan Piker did have when traveling to Mexico. So if you look like this, it's less likely that you're going to be a target for criminals. The thing that I find fascinating is that this is kind of like how people behaved here 10 years ago. And now I see that people don't behave here, and I'm looking with, I guess, some sort of national pride on how much Romania has progressed. It's not perfect. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of leftists screeching at me in the comment section from Bucharest or from Cluj, and they're like, oh my god, like, it's not like this. It is like this in other cities, first off, right? Like, in other cities that aren't big metropolises, it is calm. Like, the situation is different. But secondly, if you think this is bad, you should get a time machine and go 10 years in the past, and you can experience how it was then. And then when you come back here, you're like, oh, you know what? Like, maybe there is still some room of improvement, but by God, like, things have changed dramatically. And we didn't have a feminist government to change it. Like, that's interesting. We didn't have thought policing. We didn't have, like, leftists, doing all the stuff that you see in the West. And for some reason, we actually have less crime. Jesus. The fact that there's even inventions to deal with this tells you what a big problem is. Like, if I want to buy something like this in Romania, I don't even know where I would. I mean, sure, I'd probably go to an online store or something and eventually get it, but it's not something that's common. It's not something that most people use. Wow, no, 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 no. Put that back. Put that back. No, bad idea. When it comes to self-defense, unless you're an American and you can carry a gun, don't even bother. Now, carrying a gun is the best thing ever for self-defense, right? In a society where everyone carries a gun, it's insanely less likely for criminals to try to mug someone, because criminals want to stay alive, So, unless you can carry a gun, don't, no. Especially not this shit. What the fuck is it? I get it that it can get you arrested in London. Although, like, this may even be smaller than that guy with the Zelda toy sword, which got arrested, right? So, like, in this situation, I think it may even be safe. I don't know, I would have to check with the legislation. But you're not going to do anything with it. This is just going to make you feel more confident. And sometimes it's good not to be very confident. Like if you have an individual that's bigger than you and looks like it can hospitalize you with one punch and wants your wallet, let's just give them the wallet. Because you can call your bank later and cancel your credit card than to actually risk injury and hospitalization. So, I get the idea. It makes you feel safe. You can poke someone with that. If someone tries to snatch your purse, you poke them and then you run away. But no. Now, if you must, I will give you Eastern European wisdom. Like what you can do, if you're not allowed to have a gun, have a dog. It doesn't need to be an attack dog. You don't even need to. It can be like the most friendly canine ever. Just make sure that it's medium sized. Just make sure that it's like German Shepherd level. It's less likely for people to fuck with you if you're walking with a medium sized dog. Because usually people know that if you fuck with the dog owner, the dog goes like, and they choose not to, right? They choose to leave you alone. So if you can't get a dog because, you don't want to feed it, you don't want to take care of it, it's too much responsibility, you have a kid, you can't get a dog, you can't get a gun, then, check your legislation. Because, again, I understand that most modern progressive governments, they usually make it very difficult for the person to defend themselves, and they don't really care about the criminal, right? So it's kind of like a narco-tyranny. Like, the criminals get to do whatever they want, but legal-abiding citizens have it much more difficult. So it's good to actually follow the laws of the country, and it is possible to follow the laws and also defend yourself. So check to see if tasers are allowed, check to see if mace is allowed. Like those are better options than whatever this shit is, right? But again, like the best thing, if it ends up to you getting mugged and someone just demands that you give your wallet, just give them the wallet. Just give them what, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it, and it's definitely not good to get into a struggle with them. Because usually the person that does the mugging is mentally prepared for the struggle. You're not. Like, you are just minding your own business, you're just going about your day, and all of a sudden this thug just gets into your way and wants to demand stuff. So anyway, my question is, people who live in Spain, did you benefit from the progressive government? I need to know so that when we get progressive governments over here, do we vote for them or not? Because it's kind of interesting. Like, you got all of this thought policing and all of this cracking down on jokes and misogynismus, and you had like teaching people not to commit crime, right? Like, that was very important, teaching them, right? Not by imprisoning them, no, because the prison system is sexist and racist. So no, like teaching them not to commit crimes, right? And making sure that we don't victim blame and we don't teach people how to defend themselves. Was this fruitful? Is there more crime now than it used to be? Because here in my country, we didn't benefit from all of these enlightened ideologies that seem to come from the West, and yet for some reason our crime level has gone low. I don't know, like maybe there was something that you guys did that we didn't do, or maybe there is something that we did that you guys didn't do. It should be a case study. Like, how did Romania manage to lower the crime rates? It's very interesting. Again, I don't have the statistics, but I have eyes, like I walk on the street and I see shops that just have windows. And you can see what's inside them, and there's no one inside them. And, like, theoretically, like, someone could pick up a brick, smash the window, steal the stuff, and run away by the time the police... No one does that, though. No one does that. You have, like, plasma TVs out in the open. No one tries to steal them. No one tries to pick them up. Right? So, like, when I see these things, it tells me that it's a safe society. I see that people don't try to hug their purses, because they used to, right? People don't have problem walking around with jewelry and displaying wealth. It wasn't always like this, right? And now I see that in Spain, you have, like, the same things that we used to have. So, what exactly is Romania doing that Spain isn't, huh? Do you think your progressives can learn something from us, or are they well too educated to learn something new? Let me know what you think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.